Hey, it's your boy Easy, and on today's episode of Easy Opens, we're going to be taking a look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Archie Adventures Jagwar figure from Neca. Wow. 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 Alright, here is Jagwar. Jaguar. War. It's war. Yeah, war. W-A-R. Okay. And if you're not familiar with this character, buckle up. Here we go. First appearance was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Archie Adventures, issue number 14, entitled Leave Heaven Alone, from September 1990. Real name is Jagwar, and so basically, Jagwar is a demigod who resides in the rainforest of Brazil. There he's worshipped as a god at his own temple until, well, mercenaries took charge, and now he fights for the people's freedom and revenge for Chico Mendes! At some point, Cuddly the Cowlick spits the turtles out in his backyard, and they team up. And then he becomes friends with Dreadmon and Man Ray, and thus the beginning of the Mighty Mutanimals is upon us. Jaguar's abilities include being bilingual, your normal fare of superhuman characteristics, and standard fare of Jaguar abilities. So before we move on to the actual figure, again, let's look at this box art. It's excellent. And again, the background insert for this figure is taken from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures, number 14, page 10. Alright, so now let's get this figure free from its plastic prison. Oh my gosh, so Jaguar looks fantastic, just like every other figure in this line. Looks like he jumped right off the page to greet us here in peace. And, same thing with Dreadmon. The big wide eyes and rounded facial expression really give that Disney vibe and make your body subconsciously prepared for the potential to just burst out into song at a moment's notice. You never know. And so, yeah, I am just still very taken with these figures. I mean, NECA's really just NECA just makes good figures in general. They do, that's known. But the, artwork that this is based on, the design work that these figures, were based on, is the other half of that equation. And it's fantastic on both sides of that, and when they come together, it's just great, and we get these great figures, and Jagwar is up there with the rest of the Mutanimals so far. According to Turtlepedia, Jagwar is 6 foot tall and weighs around 175 pounds. However, our figure stands at about 6.5 inches tall, and he also weighs 175 pounds, believe it or not. Alright, so now let's talk about the paint and sculpt of this figure. This figure, again, looks great. He's got this texture to him that is like the sculpted hair on him, because he's a furry cat animal person being, I don't know. But it's so cool, and it's even on his hands, and every other part of this figure pretty much has this fur sculpted into him, and it looks fantastic, and it feels really neat, to say the least. He is one of the more simplistic designs for the Mutanimals, despite still being just a cool cat character, because cats are just kind of cool, especially when you give them opposable thumbs and stand them upright. That just looks cool on its own. So he's got these little circles. I wonder if there's actually a technical term for these circles. I'm gonna look it up, and I'm gonna put it in the caption here. But they're really well done. They look really cool and make the figure pop, definitely. Like just the darker circles just against his lighter fur color is just really cool, and gives him this like weird kind of, not necessarily otherworldly, but kind of like almost hypnotic, maybe in a sense, kind of look to it. It's really neat. And yeah, his facial expressions are awesome. The surprised, like happy to see you, kind of like mi madre like look on his face is really neat, and has the same kind of vibe that Dreadmon's does, his happy face. But then the more serious face that Jagwar has is a little like, it could go a couple different ways. Like he's like either about to eat you, or he's like waiting for you to like step into some trap or something, or he's looking kind of suave and just kind of like feeling himself, And either way, I'm feeling this figure so far, so that's really cool, and I think NECA did a good job with those facial expressions. They also got the jaw again to move and give us some articulation there that really helps to you can close it, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a cool thing. And then you open it, and he's got the red tongue on the inside, and the teeth. All of it just looks so good. The other thing that I kind of am not so hot about, but I don't know how else they would have done it. Well, actually, now that I say that, they could have molded this into the actual arm of the figure, or just on the figure itself, just kind of made it like part of his chest and his arms. But the leafy green like things like around his wrist and his neck, they're well done and they look cool and everything, but like they're just kind of, they feel like they're gonna break very easily, and so I'm a little like apprehensive to kind of mess with that, because I don't want that to happen. But also on mine, unfortunately, well, it could go either way, because it's kind of like what I was just saying. His necklace version of the leafy green stuff is kind of stuck on there, and I don't know if that's by design or if that is like just a flaw of the paint being stuck onto the chest. But considering that the wrist one is loose and like not like stuck onto his arm, I want to think that the chest one might have been intended to be that way as well. But mine has a few of them that are stuck, especially like on the front part of his chest, and I'm okay with that. It's probably not what was intended, but it will keep it there and secure, and I'm not as nervous about that getting messed up and broken, so it's kind of a good thing, I guess. He also has the leafy skirt around him, which is really well done and really cool, and it splits in the back, so you've got access to his tail, which sounds very horrible when you say that out loud, but we do have that option available to us. And yeah, other than that, that's really all the detail here, but it's still really well done and really good, and looks just like the character in the comics. All right, so now let's move on to the accessories that you're going to get with Jaguar. Jaguar comes with 2 heads, a surprised, happy, smiling head, and a snarling, kind of like sly, sneaky, kind of hungry, I guess, like head. I don't know how else to describe that. Comes with 6 pairs of hands, a wood fire, a skewered fish, a bowl of fruit, a malignoid baby, and baby Jaguar. So I think the wood fire is from Mighty Mutanimals miniseries number 2, page 19. I think the skewered fish is definitely from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures 15, page 3. The bowl of fruit, I'm going to say, is probably from Mighty Mutanimals miniseries 2, page 18, possibly. The malignoid baby definitely comes from Mighty Mutanimals miniseries number 1. He's in there. There's a bunch of them. And baby Jaguar is from Mighty Mutanimals miniseries number 2, page 20. Alright, so now let's talk about the articulation you're going to get out of Jaguar. So Jaguar gets 360 at the neck. He can look up really good. He can look down quite a bit. He's also got a lot of motion. Well, not really a lot of motion, but some motion in his jaw. So that's really cool. And, you get side to side, which is rad. Then onto the shoulder, you get 360 and a joint, so you can go all the way around and up and down. 360 at the bicep. You also get 360 at the elbow, but you also have a joint in there as well, so you can bend that as you please. Same thing with the wrist, 360 and a joint for bending. Moving on to the torso, you get 360 at the chest as well as the waist, which is pretty rad. And yeah, so there's that. And if you wanted to turn him around and flip which side is his back and front, depending on if you like the spots better that way, you can do that. He's got good range of motion in his legs. The splits are pretty good. He's got thigh swivel like most of the figures from Neca do. And so you can, swivel it a little bit. He's got double jointed knees, and he's got an ankle rocker. There we go. So you can twist and shout all you want. And then lastly, he's got a plugged in tail that does have a joint in it, so you can move it back and forth, but it's also bendable. So that is awesome if it would focus. So yeah, that's going to be all the articulation you're going to get out of Jaguar. All right, now let's see how he compares to some other figures you might have in your collection. Here they are with Leonardo and Raphael from the cartoon box set from Neca. Here they are with SH Figuarts Kamen Rider 01 and Chun-Li figures. Here they are with Figma's Pokemon Gloria and K-on's Kitsu Tainaka. Here they are with Storm Collectibles Sub-Zero figure and Storm Collectibles Baraka figure. Here they are with some other feline figures from DC Collectibles Beast Boy and Masters of the Universe Classics Catra. Here they are with Marvel Legends Black Panther Killmonger figure and Jaguar's Beef Boss figure. Here they are with Super 7 Slash and Metalhead figures. And here they are with the rest of his Adventures buddies. Alright, so again, Archie's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures comics are fantastic. If you haven't read them and you're a Turtles fan, do yourself a favor and go get them. You will not be disappointed. And if you are, come back and write to us at turtlesoupshow@gmail.com and we'll tell you how you're wrong. Because Archie Adventures is just so good. And we absolutely loved it on the podcast. And another thing we also absolutely loved was Jagwar. He is a fantastic character from those books, and we just adored him. And he has such a cool backstory with his mi madre and just all this cool stuff. She's off doing stuff with like a skeleton riding a horse that may or may not be Death. I don't know. I can't remember right now. But do yourself a favor, read it for yourself, find out, and just absolutely fall in love with it because it's great. And Jagwar, I'll never say his name right, Jagwar is great as well. Unfortunately, he is one of the least odd, strange looking characters out of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures lore. And as far as an action figure goes, he's pretty plain and simple. He's just a Catman with opposable thumbs. Now, despite being one of the least visually strange or odd Mutanimals, Jaguar's unique personality really helped to garner your attention on the page. But this is an action figure. You don't buy action figures because of their personality alone, unless you do, and that's kind of strange. But I don't know, who am I to judge? No one's like, oh, I'm going to get that one because they have a positive attitude. Or, ooh, I want that one because they're a good listener. No, but no one's buying action figures for those features. Still, being a Catman with opposable thumbs is way cooler than just your average normal bear action figure. Like, no one's waking up on their birthday or Christmas morning being like, opening up one present and it being Vernon and them being like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. And then like, they open up Jagwar, like, you know, Jagwar is hands down, like, you know, way better than Vernon. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that the fact that cat characters, when again given opposable thumbs and standing upright, are just really cool in general. I guess you don't feel like there's not much more you can put on them. I guess there is, but I don't know. But nevertheless, they are just already way inherently cool. Despite not being a really fast werewolf, person, man, being, demigod, or being a giant mutated wrestling man ray. But all that out of the way, Neca has still yet again done an amazing job translating this figure from page to plastic, and he looks perfect. He looks so good. However, there are a few things I noticed while editing this review, and yeah, they're kind of minor, but like, just thought I'd mention them. The paint on the leaves were a little sloppy. That like the hard black lines that kind of like make it pop a little bit to accentuate the detail that's there is kind of hit and miss. For the most part, mine's okay, I think. And I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it because it's kind of like leafy. So, I mean, I guess you could justify it by, you know, it's leaves. Like, they all look different. But I figured it was worth noting that, yeah, if you wanted to take some time and paint them a little bit, you could do some, like, dry brushing or whatever on it that could really make the sculpt pop a little bit more. that's kind of what made me think that can there be more done to make this look better? And the answer is yes, but it doesn't look bad, at least in my opinion. Another thing that I didn't notice until I was editing really was that on the snarling face, at least on mine, his jaw pops out on the left side. And it's kind of one of those things that, like, it goes right back in. It's not a huge deal because it's not like it's just hanging out, but it is something of note. So, but your mileage may vary with that. And then lastly, I noticed that the tail on mine kind of has some paint breakage where it's kind of right near the actual joint where it plugs in. Right near there, it looks like there's some stress on the bendable plastic to where the paint is kind of showing some cracks. But that's only, you really only see them if you're like pushing it up and kind of like stressing on it. And yeah, that's, you know, but how often are you looking at the underside of a Catman's tail? I mean, let's be honest here. But other than that, I still think he looks fantastic and am very happy with this figure. So if you're like me collecting pretty much all of this Archie's line of action figures from Neca, you're definitely going to want to pick up Jagwar. And if you're looking for another upright cat person with thumbs to add to your upright cat people with thumbs shelf, then Jagwar will fit in nicely there. Or if you're just looking to collect cool characters based on their winning personality, then you will find few better than Jagwar. Alright, well that's going to do it for me today. Thanks so much for watching, and if you liked what you saw, hit that like button. If you want to see more from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And if for some reason you want to hear me talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Jagwar, or hopefully pronounce his name right again, be sure to check out Turtle Soup Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. We're also here on YouTube. We live stream usually like every Thursday night, so be sure to just come around and check us out over there and have some fun talking about turtles and other things. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on Jagwar and the Adventures series from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Archie. And yeah, let me know. Until then, Elsetime.